So just 4 more here. I realize this is quite a long unit that quite a long chapter. We've done a lot here. We've learned about primes, we've taken large numbers, broken them down, and now we're at fractions, and every fraction question has 2 numbers. So I do realize that there's a lot of work going into here just for the first chapter. But I also realize that what we're asking you to do here is actually not that complicated. So 63 and 210. I like 210 because that's 21 and 10. I can take out a 0 there. 21 is 7 times 3. 10 is 2 and 5. So I'll write that down. I like to write it in order. So 2 times 3 times 5 times 7. 63 is 9 times 7. And 9 is 3 times 3. Carry down that 7. So I'm at 3 times 3 times 7. So there is a 3 on top and 3 on bottom. 7 on top, 7 on bottom. So I'm left with, and I've run out of room here, but I've got, maybe I'll write this down below. I've got a 3 on top, and then a 2 and a 5, which is a 10. So 3/10 is my final answer. And I did that relatively quickly, and I reduced that fraction, which is quite a large fraction, down into 3/10. So I think that's actually pretty good. Now, let's do F. So I've got 90 and 120. Both these have 10, so 9 and a 10, and this is a 12 and a 10. 9 is 3 times 3, the 10 is 2/5. 5. The 12 is 4 and a 3, and the 10 is a 2 and a 5. This one's done, so I don't need that. And this is 2 and a 2, and then the 3, 2, and 5 can carry down. So for the 90, what do I have? 2, 3, 3, 5. 2, 3, 3, 5. And the 120, I've got 2, 2, 2. Then a 3 and a 5. And I've done all of those. Okay. There's a lot in common. So I know I have a 5 top and bottom. I have a 3 top and bottom. And I have a 2 top and bottom. So I'm left with a 3 on top. And 2 times 2, which is 4. So 90 over 120 simplified to 3 over 4, which is much simpler. All right, 210 and 252. So again, these numbers are getting a little larger. 210 is going to be 21 and 10. It's got that 10 in there. This is a 3 and a 7. This is a 2 and a 5. Now 252. I'll cut that in half. Half of 200 is 100, and half of 52 is, half of 50 is 25, and half of 2 is 6, 126. 25 is 50, yep, that should work. And then cut this in half. So half of 100 is 50, I'll write it down. Half of 100 is 50, half 26 is 13. So that's going to get me 63. So 2 and 63. Carry down that 2. 63 is going to be a 9 times 7. Bring down both those 2's. 9 is going to be a 3 and a 3, and then carry down the 7. So what do we have? So 210 is here. 2, 3, 5, 7. 2, 3, 5, 7. Did I already do that, by the way? Dang, I did. I did that right here. I could have just copied it. Well, there you go. And then 252. 2, 2, 3, 3, 7. 2, 2, 3, 3, 7. Just double check. 2 2's, 2 3's, and 7. So what do I have here? 2 top and bottom, a 3 top and bottom, 7 top and bottom. So I'm left with a 5 on top and 2 times 3, which is a 6. So 5 over 6, that's way smaller than 210 over 252. And what do we got? Lastly, we have 462 and 770. I like this one because this is 77 times 10. And 77 is actually kind of nice because I got a 7 and an 11, and that's a 2 and a 5. So let's write that down now in order. So 2, 5, 7, 11. 2, 5, 7, 11. Okay, 462. That's a weird one. So I'm going to cut that in half. So 2 times something. Half of 400 is 200. Half of 62 is 31. Then I got to take this. I can't cut this in half. So what do? You can't cut it in half. You can't take out a 10. You can't divide. It's not divisible by 5. So this is why this is one of the last questions. This is not entirely obvious what to do. Maybe it can be divided by 5. Maybe it can be divided by 7. Now I like to look over here because obviously I designed this question for something to cancel out. And I see a 7, I see 11. So it's probably divided by a 7 or an 11. So I'm going to take 231 and try to do a 7. So 7 goes into 23 3 times. 3 times 7 is 21. That minus that is 2. Bring down the 1. 7 goes into 21 3 times, which is 21 to get me a remainder of 0. So 231 can break up into 7 and 33. Bring down the 2. Again, why did I do that? Well, because I'm so smart and I just looked over to the other side and I just picked one of the weird numbers like 7 and 11. I could have done an 11, but I did 7. If it didn't work, the number you chose, you could just try another one. So this is going to be a 3. 33 is a 3 and 11. Carry down the 2, carry down the 7. So I'm going to go ahead and erase this off to the side here. And now I can just write this down. 462 is going to be the 2, 3, 7, and 11. 2, 3, 7, 11. And the bottom one was, again, 2, 5, 7, 11. Beautiful. So what do I got? I got a 2 on top, 2 on bottom, 11 on top, 11 on bottom, 7 on top, 7 on bottom. So I get 3 over 5. All of that reduced to 3 over 5, which is quite nice. That's a lot simpler. So we're going to do this, but we're going to do this with multiplication and division in the next chapter, which means instead of 2 numbers that we have to reduce, we're going to have to do 4. So the questions are going to be a lot larger, and the numbers, if you were just to multiply them and do a maybe a more traditional method of simplifying fractions, you're going to have numbers in thousands and 10,000s and 100,000s. But if we do this method, we're going to cross things off and it's going to reduce really nicely. So that's kind of why we do this. It's for these large multiplications. So we'll do that in chapter 2.